Hello, and thank you for watching. Today we are going to talk a little bit about Iaido, the art of drawing the sword to respond to a sudden attack, which is actually the definition that many give to that martial art. This video is not a formal or comprehensive summary of what Iaido is, different schools throughout the world and styles, etc., etc. You can go to the internet to get many interesting articles about the Aikido that will help you better understand the art. And also there are many good books that have been written on this topic. Rather, my intention with this video was to share my experience as an Iaido beginner, hoping that you can get motivated to join this beautiful martial art. I started doing Iaido when I was probably 27 years old in Aikido. And if you ask me why it took so long for me to join, to start practicing Iaido, I wouldn't know what to tell you. I've been watching others do Iaido for years. I always thought it was beautiful. But then I made all kind of excuses to myself, saying that it was too late for me, that it was very difficult to become a beginner again in a martial art, that it was expensive, that I didn't have time, etc., etc., etc. It wasn't until January 2020, before a few months before the pandemic hit us, that I decided to practice it. And after that, I just thought that I wasted my time for so long for not being an active Iaido practitioner, right? Some have said that Iaido gives you focus, concentration, precision, and mindfulness, which is very true. It's the kind of experience I have had over the last 2 years practicing Iaido. And on top of that, another good thing is that your sensei, your Iaido sensei, or Iaido senseis in general, they give you an idea of the scenario that is happening around the kata that you're practicing, which is really cool. So at the end of the day, when you start really getting to that meditation state where with your sword in the hands and you imagine what's going on around you, it's like you're in another world. It's really exciting and challenging, as well, I would say. So the structure of this video is pretty simple. I will be giving you some interesting facts or trivia about Iaido. And at the same time, I wanted to show you some of the katas I've been practicing. They're going to be katas from the Seitei series. There are 12 katas, but I'm going to present just half of it, right? And my intention is just for you to see my progress and for me to see my progress in the future when I review these katas in 1 or 2 years from now. So I hope you like it. According to Wikipedia, members of the All Japan Kendo Federation created a standard Iaido style in 1969 called Seitei ZNKR Renme. This came from the study of different Iaido schools such as Muso Jidiken Eishin Ryu, Muso Shinden Ryu, and Hoki Ryu. In 1969, Seitei was introduced with 7 katas. 3 more were added in 1981 and 2 more in year 2000 to complete a set of 12 katas. Seitei Iaido has become a powerful means to standardize, promote, and propagate Iaido among many kendo schools, and it has become the most widely recognized form of Iaido in Japan and the rest of the world. Iaido involves some katas and basic exercises that must be executed in a sitting position. However, some Iaido practitioners might have knee or hip issues, preventing them to execute all those techniques from Seiza. Be aware of your limitations. You might need to reduce the number of times you kneel down. Just ask your sensei for standing alternatives. There is an Iaido style that does not require any kneeling techniques. It is called Aikido Iaido or Nisho Ryu Iai.
One of Japan's greatest swordsmen was Tsuka Bokuden, 1490 to 1572, who had great mastery of Saya no Onchi. Bokuden was crossing the Era in a rowboat with a number of passengers. There was a braggart among them, a rough-looking samurai, stalwart and arrogant in every possible way. He boasted of his skill in swordsmanship, saying he was the foremost man in the art. The fellow passengers were eagerly listening to his blatant talk, while Bokuden was dozing as if nothing were going on about him. This irritated the braggart very much. He approached Bokuden and shook him, saying, "You also carry a pair of swords. Why not say a word?" Bokuden answered quietly, "My art is different from yours. It consists not of defeating others, but in not being defeated." This incensed the fellow immensely. "What is your school then?" Bokuden replied, "Mine is known as the Mutakatsu school, which means to defeat the enemy without hands, that is, without using a sword." "Why then do you carry yourself a sword?" asked the samurai. "This is meant to do away with selfish motives and not to kill others," answered Bokuden. The man's anger really knew no bounds, and he exclaimed in a most impassioned manner, "Do you really mean to fight me with no swords?" "Why not?" was Bokuden's answer. The braggart samurai called out to the boatman to row to the nearest land, but Bokuden suggested that it would be better to go to the island farther off, because the mainland might attract people who might somehow get hurt. The samurai agreed. The boat headed towards the solitary island at some distance. As soon as they were near enough, the man jumped off the boat and, drawing his sword, was all ready for combat. Bokuden leisurely took off his own swords and handed them to the boatman. To all appearance, he was about to follow the samurai onto the island, when Bokuden suddenly took the oar away from the boatman, pushing it up against the land, gave a hard backstroke to the boat. Thereupon, the boat made a precipitous departure from the island and plunged into deeper water, safely away from the man. Bokuden, smiling, remarked, "This is my no-sword school."
Tameshigiri is the Japanese art of target test cutting. This art is not an essential part of Iaido instruction, but in the end it ties to other arts where a sword is used. The testing materials may include goza, the top layer of tatami mats, bamboo and thin steel sheets. In the old days, human bodies were used for this kind of testing, mainly bodies of criminals. As an Iaido beginner, I would like to explain you what to expect in terms of cost of a new Iaito. Pricing can start from $100 all the way to $2,000 or even more. My advice is that beginners should not get either a crappy sword or an extremely luxury one. Start with something in between, and then once you become more skilled in the art, you should be able to make a better informed decision to get a better sword for you. As a reference, I purchased an Iaito from Tuzando in Japan for US $430, including the Iaito, the scabbard, and a silk case, plus a leather carry bag. I received the sword in Canada, where I had to add 35 more Canadian dollars for custom fees, and I got all in 2 weeks. Not bad. This is just some guidance. Always consult your sensei before you buy anything.